Curried chicken on pizza is nothing new in places like Delhi, India, where Western cuisine has become popularized, but it generally tastes like exactly what it is, chicken curry baked on naan bread, which is okay, but it's not a fusion dish. I like that basic idea, but I wanted to make something that really fuses these two cuisines together and is greater than the sum of their parts. The combined taste here is completely unique, nothing like you would expect and nothing like the simplified chicken curry pizza you might have tasted before. Okay, I got a couple of green chilies here. I'm just going to remove the stems off of those and give them a coarse chop just to get them into the cup they go, along with the onions, ginger and garlic, a couple of good dollops of yogurt. I'm using a really good fat one from Germany, but you can use any. Don't use non-fat. Then the garam masala. I'm using one that I made myself. You can use a commercial one if you want to save some time, or there's the recipe here for the one that I'm using. And juice from half a lemon. I got about 350 grams of chicken, as explained in the ingredients list. And this is obvious, so we just put the marinade on it, stir it around, and refrigerate it for a while. The marinated chicken is finished. I've got the butter and a little bit of oil heating up in the pan. The oil keeps the butter from burning. The butter foams up like this for a little bit. You know it's past the boiling point of water. You can start adding chicken into it. You're going to have to do this in a couple of batches, maybe even 3 batches. You don't want to have the pan have more than one layer of chicken at the bottom at a time. So after about 3 minutes on one side, you turn it over. The heat on the pan is fairly high. I've got it on 8 actually out of 1 to 10. Of course, because there's so much liquid here, you're not really going to brown the chicken. You're just going to make sure that it's cooked on the outside. It's not pink anymore. And while the chicken is cooking, you've got this bunch of cilantro. It's about 30-40 grams. You want to make sure that you do use the root ends, but cut the very tips of the roots off. But you want all the stems in here. It's actually more flavor in the stems than there are in the leaves for cilantro. And like this, you load it up into the food processor cup. The chicken's still cooking. This is one of those rare times when a dried herb is actually going to work better for you than a fresh herb. I'm using just over a teaspoon of dried mint. I'm adding water to this. The chicken is finishing. We've got the cilantro and mint solution ready. You can see there's a lot of solids that are accumulated on the bottom of the pan here. And get the chicken out here. Drain off any liquid back into the pan that come off easily. Now, into this, I'm going to add the tomato sauce. This is pureed tomatoes, as I've explained before. In restaurants we call this tomato sauce, but it's really nothing more than pureed tomatoes. And we're going to cook this down real well. This is what it looks like after just a couple of minutes. As with any other masala, you want to cook this over medium heat because there wasn't very much volume. It didn't take that long. After about 8 minutes, you've got very dark red masala here. Now we're going to add the chicken back into the pan, along with whatever else you can scrape off of the plate here. It's coated. Cook this just a little bit more now to try to get some color on the chicken now that we actually can. Most of the liquid's evaporated off. So, and leave it like this. Turn it up just a little bit. And another 6 minutes here. And stirring this once in a while, not too much. And the mixture is starting to stick to the bottom of the pan, despite the non-stick surface on the pan. It's still sticking. It's starting to get really thick. I'm going to give it just like maybe 2 more minutes. Okay, it's been a couple more minutes here. It's not a lot more progress to be made here before you start burning it. So now I'm going to add that cilantro, mint, and water solution. Turn the heat down to about 3 and begin simmering this. And this is also the time you can add salt. I'm adding about a teaspoon of salt to it. Don't forget, it's not going to be consumed directly. It's going to be used on top of something else. So it might seem like a lot of salt, but it'll be just fine in the end. Okay, let this sit for a little bit and simmering. In fact, what else we can do is we can make sure that when it doesn't get too thick too fast, you can put the lid over. Pardon me. After an hour, this is what you've got. It's almost homogeneous. The chicken and the sauce are practically one. And we're going to stop it here, take it out. The next day, after this has been refrigerated, I have a bit of a messy operation to perform here. We get all this out, and you can't really use a food processor for this because it'll go too fine. You don't want it to be tiny bits like a paste, but you do want to break this pieces of chicken up into something that's going to be more spreadable. That's enough. Then it goes back in the box for use. What I recommend doing in home ovens, if you don't have a pizza oven, is bake it 2 times. Poke some holes in it, bake it the first time for a few minutes, take it out, then put the toppings on it and put it back in the oven. Otherwise the crust will never get crispy. Meanwhile, I've got some cheese that I grated here. This is similar to Jack cheese in the U.S., Monterey Jack. It's a Kostomskoye in Russia. It's an excellent pizza cheese. It's actually my favorite cheese for pizza, but you probably won't be able to get that. And I'm running a red onion down a mandolin at 1/2 millimeter slices, just to separate the rings like this. We're going to use these. Now that we've given a head start by baking the crust to get it crisp on the bottom, I'm applying a little bit more of that same yogurt. Don't use a non-fat yogurt. Then the red onion. Be generous with this. This is a big part of the flavor. If you don't like onion, you'll like this. Then cheese. Then you put this topping down. Here's the tricky part. You have to kind of spread this out manually here. Make it as good as you can make it, and how much you use is of course up to you too. You want a good layer of this though. This is, after all, what it's all about. More like a flatbread really than a pizza. It's really what it should be called. Okay. Then it's going to go in the oven, back in the oven. About 7 more minutes here. It comes out of the oven, add a little more cilantro to the top of it. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.